Good afternoon, everyone. Education USA Ghana is back with featuring strong and accredited institutions in the US on our Facebook Live sessions. If you are joining us for the first time, I'll briefly tell you what Education USA is about. We are a US Department of State network of international students advising centers in more than 175 countries. Our role is to help you to study in the US, and we do this through 5 steps. Step 1 is to research your options of US institutions. Step 2 is to know how to finance your education in the US. Step 3 is to complete your application. Step 4 is to apply for your student visa. Step 5 is to prepare you for your departure, so that if you need any help studying in the US, you know your best source is Education USA Ghana. My name is Marilyn Owusu. I'm based at Education USA Kumasi at Asokwa. I'll be your host for this session. I'm one of 2 advisors at Education USA Kumasi. Education USA Accra is based at the US Embassy, and we also have 2 wonderful advisors there. This afternoon, my colleague Bernice Afote is with us, and she'll help to host the program. We have a very promising and awesome session. And why am I saying this? It's just because we have 3 top-notch institutions with us. And we are going to have a blend of undergraduate and graduate schools so that we can learn all we can about these schools. I promise you it's going to be great. So just make yourself comfortable. We have University of Massachusetts at Lowell with us.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. So I think we are having a little bit of technology challenge here. My colleague Marilyn was just introducing Umass Lowell. And we also have Calvin College, and we have Hood College. These presenters will talk about both undergraduate and graduate programs, except for Calvin, who will talk only about their undergraduate programs. At this time, I will turn over to Mr. Zach from Calvin to introduce himself, and then Ben from Umass will introduce himself, and then Nick from Hood College, and then we start the presentations. Over to you for introductions. Zach.
My internet dropped. I don't know if we've been able to introduce ourselves.
So we have Zach about to introduce himself.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Zach Sandoval. I am at Calvin University and I work with the international admissions. So it's very nice to be with you all today and I can't wait to share a little bit more about Calvin.
Nice. Ben?
Hello everyone. My name is Ben Adu. Very excited to be here with you. I'm from University of Massachusetts Lowell, originally from Ghana. So very excited to connect with folks for you to learn more about our undergraduate and graduate programs. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. We are also happy to have you. Nick?
Hi, everyone. My name is Nick Masucci, and I am the Assistant Director of Graduate Admissions and Data Management here at Hood College, and I work with many of our international students at the graduate level.
Thank you, Nick. Today is an all-men affair. We will turn over to Zach to give us a tour of Calvin College. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bernice. I will share my screen. Okay, so for the next 15 minutes, I will share with you a little bit more about Calvin University, and I'll also share some information about financial aid and how to apply to Calvin after I give some general statistics, and also share a little bit of information about the Ghanaian population on campus too. So this is the team that you'd be working with for international admissions. So I work typically with students from Asia and Europe, and my colleague, Sam Gomez, to the right there, he works with students from Africa and the other half of the world. So you'd be very close friends with Sam. And the topic of immigration and F1 visas was mentioned earlier by the EducationUSA representative, and Brent Wilkinson. He works with students on obtaining their visas and other immigration things when students actually arrive. So this is a brief overview about Calvin. We are ranked as one of the best institutions in the Midwest by US News. So what I like to share is that about 13% of our campus is international students. So that's a very high population. We're very proud to show that. And we have about 65 different countries represented as well. So we are a little bit of a smaller institution, around 3,300 students. And these scores are the averages of the students that we accept with the ACT and SAT scores. I'll share a little bit more about that later. So as far as where we are located in the United States, we are located in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's on the west side of the state there. And this big white area that is Lake Michigan, a great lake, which we are nearby. So we're very close to a city called Grand Rapids, and it's a nice city. It's in the top 20 cities in the nation for job growth, which is nice. And there's about 1 million people in the area. So if you're very interested in finding something to do, whether it be with music or theater or the arts, or finding an internship, there's a lot of opportunity for that. We're also very close to the beaches of Lake Michigan, which is nice. So if you want to take a swim in a large body of fresh water that looks like an ocean, you can definitely do that too. So I'm going to share the mission statement of Calvin and talk briefly about each of these areas. But the mission statement reads that Calvin University equips students to think deeply, act justly, and live wholeheartedly as Christ's agents of renewal in the world. So with thinking deeper, students will be challenged academically with rigorous study at Calvin, and 100% of our faculty are Christians. So if you want the opportunity to talk on a deeper spiritual level with your faculty, you are more than able to do that. We have a smaller student to faculty ratio as well. So there's plenty of opportunity to speak with your professors one-on-one. And we have over 100 different academic majors. And I like to share that if you don't see one that specifically you had in mind, there's probably something that is very similar. A lot of students ask about AP and IB courses. So we do offer some credits to transfer over, a maximum of 32. And there's some information there. Typically you want a 3 to 5 score for AP if you want to bring those over. And for IB, scores of 5 or higher too. So the second part of our mission statement was acting justly. And for us, that means engaging the community around you with your gifts and talents and uplifting others. So 54,000 hours are performed through volunteer work every year by students, which is very nice. So some of the fun programs that we do to engage the community are the Kilowatt program. That is where residence halls will compete to use the least amount of power. And the hall with the least amount of power after a certain period of time wins a prize. Another fun thing is the Placer Creek Stewards, where students will visit a local watershed and do research on the water and wade out and take samples, and it's very fun. So there's a lot of opportunities to volunteer and really give back to the community around you. With living wholeheartedly, that's about finding a sense of belonging on campus and really engaging your peers around you and just finding a passion for the university. So there's a lot of different student organizations. They can range from religious organizations to major organizations. We also host a lot of concerts and films on campus. Last night we had a concert for $5 for students. It was very cheap. If you're interested in being a student athlete, we are Division III athletics as well. And the sports range from baseball to soccer to lacrosse and swimming, things like that. And if you want to just play in a more casual manner, we also have intramural sports. And since we are a Christian institution, I will share briefly about the opportunities for you to grow your faith and spirituality on campus. So all of our courses do integrate faith and learning. So you'll be thinking deeper and applying the subject materials to ethics and morals. There is also daily chapel, which is completely optional. All of these things listed here are optional, but it's still nice for students to engage their faith and how they see fit. So there's also worship in the residence halls as well. And there's also campus Bible studies throughout. And a lot of students ask me about how they can become a leader, either leading their own studies or becoming a worship apprentice and leading worship. And there's opportunity for that too. So on the right picture there, even though it's an optional activity, you can see that a lot of students still engage in that. And the people playing the instruments, it's all student-led, which is very exciting. So our health services and counseling services are also highly regarded. What I'd like to point out too for international students is that our multicultural programming is very strong. So we have a center that just supports international students on campus. And it's just a safe place just to hang out, study with other international students, and they also throw a lot of programs as well. One of the most popular programs that we throw is called Rangila, where students will dance to music in a style from their home countries. It's kind of like a concert recital, and it's very exciting, and a lot of students come to support that. With the area that I mentioned in Grand Rapids, there's a lot of opportunity for internships too. And let's say you want to do research with your professors, you can do that too. And some of them are paid, which is nice. And if you're unsure of what an internship is or how to find one, a lot of the majors that we have a class that you take to help learn about that process. So something else I'd like to share too about Calvin is that back in 2019, we had a 98% graduate placement rate, which means that of all the people that graduated in 2019, 98% either found a job or went on to graduate school. So we're very proud of that number. And the reason for that is the mentoring that we have on campus with a smaller student to faculty ratio and the employment partnership program where we connect you with alumni with job searching. And there's also a career center on campus, which is free for you to use too, which is nice to help prepare you for a career. You would be studying abroad if you go to the States for school, but we can also take you abroad too after you're here. And what's nice is that the professors are leading them themselves. And if you receive financial aid, which I'll touch on in a moment, that also travels with you. Okay, so now I'm going to share some information specifically about financial aid. So every single international student will receive financial aid from Calvin University. So the Mosaic Award, which is listed at the bottom of the screen there, that is a $4,000 scholarship that's given to all international students. So that's just on top of everything, you get the Mosaic Scholarship. We also have a range of academic scholarships that range from $12,000 to $22,000, depending on your grades. There's also need-based aid for international students, which is nice. So you will submit your family's financial information, and Calvin has set aside funds just for international students for need-based aid. So let's say you do not have that much money at home or many financial resources, Calvin can allocate some aid for you that way too. And finally, there's also donor-funded scholarships. So we have some very generous donors that have given scholarships to Calvin, and they can be major specific as well. And students can apply to those separately. And they open up on December 1st for admitted students. So if you're thinking about joining for fall 2022, be sure to think about applying as soon as possible so you can access those donor scholarships. Another thing that's popular is the on-campus jobs as well, because international students typically can only work on campus. The campus knows that, and what's nice is that everyone knows that's hiring a job on campus. They know that you're a student first and are willing to give you flexible hours too. Okay, so after this talk, you're probably very excited about applying to Calvin University. So here's some of the things that you should know about applying and the application process. So we will need a direct application, And if you are applying to multiple schools, you'd probably want to use the Common App because we accept that. The Common application is very useful because you just make one application and send it to multiple schools. We'd also require your transcripts from your high schools sent to us from a counselor. Currently, we are SAT and ACT test optional, but if you want to submit those, you can. We'll need a copy of your passport sent to us as well, like a scanned copy. Another part that we require is a request for financial aid form. So it's simple. It's a form that you say you are requesting financial aid or not, and you submit your family information and some financial information there too. We also require financial documents such as your parents' income and bank statements, because that's part of the immigration process as well. If you have a recommendation letter from a church member or a teacher, that's nice to have too, but it is optional. Additionally, we do require an English proficiency test. So we accept TOEFL, IELTS, and Duolingo. I like to suggest Duolingo because it's very cheap and you can take it from home. If you have any questions on this, be sure to reach out to me or ask at the end of our presentations. If you are interested in attending Calvin University and seeing what it'd be like to study in the States, we do have a Summer International Academy where you can get some credits, which is nice. So it's a 3.5-week program. You actually get to live on campus and go to some classes. We have an academic track or a language track, which is nice. So it's open to rising sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And you have to apply by February 1st. So this could be you in a few years, happy, smiling, jumping for joy after getting a United States education. So I will share some fun facts about Ghana as well. We had about 44 Ghanaian students on campus, which is great. And there is an African student association. And one of the student workers that works in the international office here, she's the vice president for that association. And she was sharing with me how close-knit the African community is at Calvin. They'll make food for each other, have movie nights. They even have, they braid each other's hair or cut each other's hair. And she told me it's just a nice space for students to engage with each other and just make sure that they're okay. So I just want to share that with you all. And if you're interested in applying for Calvin, I would say apply as soon as possible. And you can apply for free by January 1st. And we would require all those documents that I was talking about earlier by April 1st. And then we'd ask that you commit to us and sign up for classes before June 1st. Thank you for listening, and I will pass this on to the next person.
Thank you very much, Zach.
Thank you.
I am amazed at the tons of information you've shared in just a few minutes. And we hope that we'll be able to ask you a few questions at the end. I'll turn over to Ben to talk about Umass Lowell. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Benice. Thanks everyone for joining us. Very excited to connect with you. A warm welcome from University of Massachusetts Lowell, also called Umass Lowell. My name is Ben Adu. I am the Assistant Director for Graduate Recruitment, but I'm happy to talk about our undergraduate programs and our graduate programs with you today. This presentation means a lot to me. I'm originally from Ghana, so former international students, I can definitely relate in terms of what you're going through, and happy to answer any questions about your journey to Umass Lowell. As part of the agenda for today, I'll give you an overview about Umass Lowell, why you would want to study with us, and then applying both to our undergraduate programs and our graduate programs, and some campus resources, International Students and Scholars Office, and what have you. So a little bit about the area. So Umass Lowell is located in the state of Massachusetts. It's about 30 miles from the city of Boston. And if you're not familiar with Boston, Boston is it's a hub, educational hub. There's so many educational institutions in the area, and we are happy to collaborate with most of them. It's the largest concentration of colleges and universities in the United States. So we pride ourselves as a state with regards to offering these educational opportunities. It has a very diverse economic base with financial services, information technology, healthcare, tourism, manufacturing. There's something that we have loads of it in the state, especially in the greater Boston area. Transportation infrastructure in terms of airport, international airport close to us, rail systems. We have these companies who are based in the Boston area, Tesla, Raytheon, BAE Systems, Analog Devices, Boston Scientific, Keurig, just to name a few. And the map shows you the relation to Boston from Lowell. We're voted the #1 startup city in the United States. It's a hub of biotech industry, which is a booming industry currently that most of our students partake in. So about the city of Lowell. City of Lowell has a population of 110,000 inhabitants. It is a city, it's a booming city, 30 miles from the city of Boston. What makes us so hip and charming, very friendly, creative city, heritage and culture. It has a huge culture. It has the second largest Cambodian population in the States, has loads of man-made canals. It has a huge African community and a huge Ghanaian community. Every March 6th, the independence of Ghana, we raise the flag of Ghana on our city hall. So that's very interesting. And the picture right here shows you some Ghanaians who went to the city hall for the flag raising ceremony. There are always festivals happening. It's a beautiful city. We have the Lowell Folk Festival. We have the Lowell African Festival, which normally happens in the month of July. So we have folks from all African countries who partake in this and makes it warm. Folks cook Ghanaian meals, you name it, fufu, benkum, jollof rice, akple. You have all those opportunities available to you. There are restaurants that Ghanaian students partake in. I partake in some of these restaurants as well. There are Ghanaian grocery stores that you can take. So if you're feeling homesick, there are places for you to get some good Ghanaian ingredients to prepare your meal. Or if you're not a good chef, you can definitely partake in some of these Ghanaian restaurants downtown Lowell. Its international population makes this city very, very diverse and very, very welcoming. In terms of an overview about Umass Lowell, it's a public research institution. It's part of the Umass system. We have about 18,000 students. We have over 120 undergraduate majors. And that gives you an area view of a nice sunny fall day. Just like today, it's very sunny, not too cold, but it is a wonderful day today. We have over 40 master's degree programs and 30 doctoral programs. We have students represented from all 50 states and from 124 countries represented. To give you an idea in terms of how fast the university is growing in terms of an upward trajectory, we have 14 new buildings in the past 8 years, right? And we have over 90,000 alumni globally. And that's key because that plays a key role when you're done with your degree here at Umass Lowell and looking for a job, right? So why would you want to stay at Umass Lowell? Top 90 public university according to US News and World Report, 5th fastest growing public doctoral university in the nation according to the Chronicle of Higher Education. We have over $84 million in annual research and developmental expenditures. So this is very, very important, right? We pride ourselves in having students think outside the box, be entrepreneurial, be creative, be innovative. And we are ranked 13 in the US for intellectual property generated. That is key. We pride ourselves in terms of our programs, and I'll talk more about programs in the next few slides. We're number 1 in New England for research universities for students 20-year of return of investment. It is important as an international student studying abroad, right? Looking at my own experience, you'll be making an investment in terms of going to school abroad and being number 1 in New England in terms of a 20-year return of investment. That is really something to write home about. And we do have OPT opportunities for our international students, and our international students and scholars office will be more than happy to connect with you once you've been admitted, and they will run you through the whole process. So now I'll talk about the admissions for the undergraduate program. Things that we need in terms of the admission requirements. We need your high school transcripts. We need letters of recommendation, at least 1, at most 3, right? From anyone who can attest to the fact that you'd be a good candidate for the program of choice, right? And we do need an essay from you. In terms of application deadlines, if you want to be considered for our early action, November 5th is the deadline, so it's fast approaching. Second early action date is January 5th. And then our regular admission deadline for decision is February 5th. all applicants to our nursing program must apply by November 5th as part of our process. And you can visit us online, take a virtual tour of campus, talk to an admission counselor, and they'll be more than happy to provide you with insights, more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. If you're interested in any of our engineering or sciences program in terms of your GPA, SAT scores, ACT scores, and then in terms of courses that you need to have completed in high school, these are the courses. And then if you're interested in our business, humanities, and health sciences program, GPA requirements, SAT scores, ACT scores. And we also do have the no test option, which requires responses to 3 short answer essay questions that you'll be prompted with for you to provide your feedback on those. How much does it cost? That's always a question for you and for your parents and for your families, right? So we are competitively priced, as a state institution. So for tuition and fees for the 2021-2022 academic year is $36,525. But the good side is we do have scholarship that ranges from $10,000 to $20,000. The key is applying early, right? You don't need any separate application to these to be offered these scholarships. Once you're admitted, you'll be automatically considered for these scholarships. So the key is applying early and confirming your admission in a timely fashion. I'll now talk to you about our graduate programs. We have over 40 master's degree programs, and you can go with the option of thesis or non-thesis. In our College of Engineering, our Francis College of Engineering, we do have a 6-month paid co-op, right? Those are normally an additional 2 credits into the program. And some colleges don't have a co-op, but they do have an internship available to you. We have a career and co-op center that helps you with your resume, interviewing tips, and looking for jobs. And that is very, very key in terms of having that opportunity for you. We do have co-op in our undergraduate programs as well. So that's very exciting for our undergraduate students. With regards to the time of day for our graduate programs, most of the classes happen late afternoon, early evenings, and it's once a week from 6:30 to 9 p.m. Lectures are captured. Some courses are available online, but most are on campus. So we have 6 colleges. So we have a Francis College of Engineering. We pride ourselves on our engineering. We have a nuclear reactor on campus. I don't know how many institutions can boast of having a nuclear reactor on campus. Engineering is our core. It's one of our founding principles. We have a huge engineering program. So we have chemical engineering, civil engineering, computer and electrical engineering, environmental studies, engineering management, energy engineering. We have both renewable and nuclear, industrial engineering, mechanical, plastics. We have a spanking brand new, it's about 2 weeks old, biomedical engineering PhD program that we have here at the institution. So I talked about the engineering co-op. This is available to non-thesis master's degree students. You can either pursue a co-op, either 3 months or 6 months with a company paid, right? And approximately earnings for that 6 months will be about $15,000. It's only open to full-time matriculated non-thesis master's degree students. And you have to apply. This is very, very popular. You need to apply in your first semester of your master's degree program. And there is a mandatory professional development course that you have to take, right? This is very key because this course will teach you about polishing up your resume, helping you with the job search in terms of what to do, in terms of writing a professional email, technical writing, and workplace culture and behavior. Then we have a School of Education. These are the master's degree programs are in the School of Education, right? It's one of our popular programs as well. And then we have our Kennedy College of Sciences. This is also one of our cornerstone colleges. Computer science is very, very popular with our programs. And, taking a look at, say, both master's and PhD programs. If you're interested in PhD, most of our PhD students are fully funded. And our master's degree students do have merit-based scholarships that I'll talk about in the next few slides. Then we have our Zuckerberg College of Health Sciences. And these are the programs that are housed in that college. One program that's very, very popular due to the global pandemic is our public health program. It is extremely popular. And our physical therapy DPT program is extremely popular. It's one of the best in the nation. Then we have our College of Fine Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. These are the programs that are housed in that college. And it's a very, very diverse college. So you can see there are wide array of programs in that college that students have the opportunity to pursue on the master's level. Then we have our business school. Our business school is AACSB accredited. So that's a huge accreditation that we are very proud of. Our engineering programs are also accredited by ABET. And these are the programs that are housed in our Manning School of Business. We do have a PhD in business administration that admits students every 2 years. All the others admit students either in the fall or the spring. And we don't have deadlines for our application. We're on a rolling admissions, but we highly encourage you to apply as soon as possible. And these are the STEM designated graduate programs that we have. So all programs in the Kennedy College of Sciences and Francis College of Engineering are STEM. So in Zuckerberg College of Health Sciences, the Clinical Lab Science. And then in College of Fine Arts and Humanities is the Community Social Psych program. And in the Manning School of Business is the MS in Business Analytics. So these are all STEM designated programs. The reason why this is very important is with regards to the OPT, you naturally get a 12 months OPT and you have the opportunity to apply for an extension of 24 months. So now you've heard about it. How do you apply to these graduate wonderful programs, right? You apply online and there's a $50 application for non-engineering programs and a $75 application for engineering programs. But the great news is we do waive these application fee waivers if you attend our open house, if you have 10-hour webinars. And speaking of webinars, we do have a webinar coming up next Wednesday, October 17th. This will be a fantastic opportunity for you to sign up for these webinars to learn about our graduate programs, and the application fee will be waived. So if you are interested in applying to any of our programs and having the application fee waived, please, I'll provide my contact information. Feel free to reach out and I'll be happy to speak to you about that. In terms of our graduate programs, you want to provide a statement of purpose, right? That's a 1 to 2 page document that talks about how this program aligns with your long-term career goals, official transcripts, test scores. You don't need to take an English proficiency test since the official language in Ghana is English. So that is also waived for you. Some programs do require resume. And then for our international and we are also waiving the GRE for our graduate programs if you submit your application before January 31st in 2022. So most of our graduate programs are waiving the GRE. So that's the GRE or GMAT for our business programs. So that is exciting. We are on rolling admissions for most of our programs. You applied, what's next, right? You can check your status. We will send you an email for you to check your status. And then once you are able to check your status, the review process takes anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. And that varies by department and the program. So for the cost for the graduate programs, tuition is $29,841. And we are competitive price, as same mentioned in undergrad. And we do have merit-based fellowships. You do not need to apply to these. You're automatically considered if you're admitted into the programs. And decisions are made based on the strength of your application and the admit pool. And we also have teaching and research assistantships available. Now, all our most of our PhD students are fully funded. And then, we have a good number of scholarships on our website. We also have housing on campus for our students. You can decide to live on a traditional dormitory, or we have suite style. We have apartment style, so students have the option that living in apartment style that's owned by the university. You have your own kitchen, central climate control, and it is fantastic. These are state-of-the-art buildings, and that's a building of our Riverview Suites that houses approximately 1,000 students, and it's a suite style building. And we are centrally located in Lowell, and we have a quick transportation to the city of Boston. So if you want to make a route to Boston, you can definitely apply. And then you can apply to housing on campus. It is very competitive. So I'll say once you get admitted, I'll say apply as soon as possible. So to wrap up, if you have any questions about undergraduate programs, Michael Belcher is the director for international recruitment in undergraduate, and he'll be more than happy to connect with you. His email address is michael_belcher@uml.edu. And then if you want to take a tour or meet virtually with a counselor, you can definitely schedule an appointment with them, and they'll be more than happy to assist you. If you have any questions about the graduate programs, that's my email address, benjamin_adu@uml.edu. you have any questions to connect with any Ghanaian students, if you want to talk about how Ghanaian students will adjust to Umass Law, I'll be happy to talk to you about that. We have a huge Ghanaian community in the city of Law, and a good number of Ghanaian students on our campus. We are always looking to have more Ghanaians on our campus and to welcome them to Umass Law. Our main website, uml.edu, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that folks have after the presentation. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Ben, thank you so much for taking time to really explain undergraduate and graduate application processes and showing us some very beautiful pictures of campus. We'll turn over to Nick to educate us about Hood College. Thank you.
All right. Like our host said, my name is Nick Masucci, and I am the Assistant Director of Graduate Admission and Data Management here at Hood College. I'll be sharing mostly about our graduate school, as well as some information about our undergraduate college as well. First, I'll share a short video, about 30 seconds, so you guys can see what campus looks like, where we're located, and a lot of other great facts about the school as well.
When we say Hood is home, it's for so many reasons. Hood is home to a welcoming, supportive campus right in one of Maryland's most vibrant cities.
Hood's home of Frederick is less than an hour from Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and Gettysburg.
Hood is home to classes small enough so your voice is heard, with the personal attention to get you thinking big.
While Hood is your home, you'll have the opportunity to live in our spacious and secure residence hall.
Hood is home to all of this and so much more.
So again, just a short video about Hood College, where we're located, and a little bit about our students as well. As it was previously mentioned, we are very close to Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, Maryland. We're located just 40 minutes just outside of both those areas. In Frederick, Maryland, you can see an overshot of our campus as well. We'll first talk about some of our bachelor degree options. We have many programs in the sciences, including biology, chemistry, biochemistry, and environmental science, as well as IT and computer science. We have programs in art and archaeology, graphic design, music. For our students interested in business, we have programs in math, economics, business, finance, accounting, and many more options as well. To talk about our master's options, you can see some of them here. Just like undergrad, we have many options in the sciences and STEM field, including a master's program in biomedical science, bioinformatics, environmental biology, and computing. As you can see, information technology, computer science, and cybersecurity. Programs in the arts, specifically ceramics, programs in business, such as our MBA degree, and our financial management, organizational management, and accounting certificates, and many more that you can see listed below. To now talk about scholarships and assistantships at the undergraduate level, we have varying need-based scholarships, anywhere from 25% to 50% of tuition. For example, you can see that the 50% rate would be around $20,000 taken off the fall 2020 rate. For our graduate students, it is a little bit cheaper to attend as a graduate student than an undergraduate student. And so there are less need-based scholarships, but there are more opportunities for teaching and graduate assistantships. As we mentioned before, overall, about 32 different bachelor degree programs and 4 pre-professional programs for our students. The campus is very small with multiple housing options. In the video, I'm sure you all saw our new residence hall that we just built. It is state-of-the-art, meant to be almost like an apartment where you have a kitchenette, multiple bathrooms, and multiple bedrooms. So, after your first year, you have a lot of great opportunities to live in a great space on campus. If you're applying as an undergraduate student, what's really great is there is no application fee, and you can either apply through the Common App or through our direct Hood College application as well. For our graduate programs, like we saw before, just over 20 different master's programs, as well as 10 post-baccalaureate certificates. Courses are a little bit different at the graduate level. They're all in the evenings and weekends with online and hybrid options as well. F1 students, our international population, is a big growing population at the graduate school. About 10% of our students currently are international students studying on an F1 visa, and we have very competitive tuition costs. Currently, we have the most affordable rates in the state of Maryland. Now we're going to talk about tips for actually applying to Hood College. So first is obviously to complete your research and visit Hood College. You can do so on our website, using our virtual tour, going on YouTube and watching some of the videos that I showed, looking at application requirements. Before you actually complete the application, it's important you do the research, know what program you want to apply for, and then go from there. Next is working on your course-by-course evaluation. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but we take course-by-course evaluations from NACIS organizations. That includes WES and ACE. Some of our programs, both grad and undergrad, may require letters of recommendation. So it's important before you start the application process that you actually begin gathering those letters of recommendation. So that way you can add them to your application quickly. Next is to write your statement of purpose, which is the essay, and those kind of vary depending on whether you're applying as an undergraduate student or you're applying at different graduate levels. And then next is to look at your financial situation and then look at the different types of aid that we can offer. And this will come into play after you've been admitted into Hood College. As I mentioned before, a great way to research Hood College is to look at our virtual tour. For the sake of time, I won't click on it directly, but we have tours virtually, so that way you don't have to fly all the way to Maryland to visit. You can visit our virtual tour, learn about all the different buildings where everything is located, and really get a good sense of what campus looks like. As I mentioned before, we need a course-by-course evaluation of your transcripts. If you're studying, looking for undergraduate, you will need to get those for high school. If you're studying for graduate, you will need those for your bachelor's degree. And if you did some master's work, we'll need that as well. You'll need to submit those credentials to a NACIS organization like WES, ECE, and IEE, and they will translate everything from the Ghanaian standard for GPAs, grades, courses, to the American standard so we can officially be able to evaluate. As I mentioned before, it's really important to ask for letters of recommendation before you begin the process. That way you have a lot of time to actually add them to your application. You can see a sample one here that my colleague Vanessa Solis wrote. That's pretty much what it should look like, having a brief message saying, here's why I recommend this student, here's why they would be a good fit for your college, as well as contact information for that person. It's very important, going back to the statement of purpose, to look at the prompt that the school gives. So for undergraduate, we have separate prompts from graduate school. As a graduate student, you'd be applying to each individual program versus the graduate school as a whole. So if you're applying to MBA, that will have a different prompt than, say, environmental science. And again, after you've been accepted, it's important to consider your finances and to look at the different packages that our school offers. Again, for undergraduate, we have specific need-based aid for our F1 international students, while the graduate school focuses more on graduate assistant positions and teaching positions. We talk about CPT and OPT. We're very proud to report that 100% of our OPT and CPT applications had 100% of approval rate. You can see the average starting salary for many of these was $71,000, just above, which is a very, very strong salary. So for my students specifically looking at graduate school, we have a very great track record of making sure our students get OPT and CPT. And that is the end of my presentation. Just to finish off, our graduate school contact information is Go Further, this one right here at hood.edu. while our undergraduate admissions is admission@hood.edu.
Wow, thank you so much to our three presenters. You've taken us around your schools, talking about undergraduate and graduate programs, and also for Calvin, including summer programs. We have quite a lot of questions, and I'll just go ahead and start reading. So the first question is for Calvin. Your school is a Christian school. If someone is not a Christian, can they still come to Calvin?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for asking that. Whoever asked that, I appreciate that. And that's a very common question that we get. So we are open to every student. It does not matter what your religion is or your faith. We have non-believers here. We have non-Christians here. And we also have Christians here. And what's nice is that we're open to receiving everybody, and that the staff and the faculty and the students are not afraid to have conversations with those that are different from them. But with the classroom and the foundation that we are built upon, it is Christ-centered. So that is something that is our focus, but we don't push that on you. And like I said, the chapels and all the other Bible studies and things on campus are completely optional.
Thank you very much. There's another question on English proficiency. Umass says they can waive, or they don't actually require English proficiency for students from Ghana. How does it work for Calvin and for Hood colleges?
I can go first briefly. So we do require English proficiency. We can waive it under one circumstance. So if you do submit an SAT or an ACT score, that is the only way that we will waive the English proficiency. Other than that, you will have to take a test.
Okay.
For Hood College, similar as well, we do require the English proficiency test as well, either the IELTS, TOEFL, or Duolingo. The one exception is if students did attend a university within the United States, the UK, Australia, or Canada, or Ireland, then that will be waived. But attending any other school outside of those select few countries, you will still need to submit the English proficiency test.
Okay, thank you. And then there's a question on application fee waiver. So Umass again said they would offer a waiver if students participate in an upcoming webinar. How does it work for Hood and for Calvin?
Okay, yeah, so for Calvin, applications are free right now up until January 1st. So there's plenty of time to apply for fall 2022. And then the fee is only $35 once that time hits. But we do also offer a free waiver code for students that ask and attend events as well. So we also offer a free waiver code. And we like to pass it out like candy for our international students.
And for Hood College, very similar at the undergraduate level, we currently do not have an application fee. So applying as an undergraduate student, there's no fee there. For graduate students, we do have an application fee, which is $100. At this time, we are not waiving it. But obviously, as things change down the road, that is something we can update. But as of right now, we do have an application fee.
Okay, thank you. Now this question will go to all of you. So maybe in the way you presented, you can also answer with Calvin first, and then Umass and Hood. We've talked about small populations, 3,300. We've talked about 18,000 and so on. So small populations versus large population. What are some of the advantages or disadvantages of student population sizes at your different institutions? We'll start with Calvin.
Sure. Yeah,
and then Hood.
Yes, thank you for that question as well. And that's a great question. And that's something that you all should be thinking about when you're doing your college searches. What are some populations that you want to see? Do student to faculty ratios matter to you? So at Calvin, I shared it's about 12 to 13 student to faculty ratio. So that means there's a pretty low percent of students compared to faculty, or it's a closer ratio. So there are stereotypes of smaller schools having closer relationships with faculty, but you can also obtain close relationships with the faculty at larger schools too. I will say Calvin definitely does pride itself on the smaller community and being able to have a tight-knit community in the residence halls and with the professors. I mean, the professors at Calvin even invite students into their own homes to have dinners. So it's very close relationship. So that can be, if that's something that you're looking for, then maybe suggest a smaller school. Yeah, definitely think about what you're looking for in population. So that's what I can share.
Thank you. Would like to hear from Ben and from Nick.
So at Umass, yes, we have about approximately 18,000 students, but faculty student ratio is 17:1. So we have loads of faculty, loads of programs, over 120 of them. So even though we're a large school, class sizes are fairly small. But the unique thing about being in a large school, is the diversity, right? We have students from 124 countries, from all 50 states. We have faculty who are coming from all over the world. It is a very, very rich environment in terms of getting to know folks who might not be from where you are. It broadens your knowledge. It gives you a different experience. It gives you a different note about life. It enhances your learning. We highly encourage students to come from different places. We welcome international students into the classroom because they bring a different perspective, which is very unique in the learning in the learning in the classroom. So it helps. You have so many different clubs and societies to join due to the size. There's always something to do. In terms of us being this big, we are a Division I school in terms of sports, so soccer, ice hockey, lacrosse, field hockey. So the vibrancy on campus is very, very exciting. There's always something to do. There's always something and someone to connect with.
Thank you. So we have a question on, like, a COVID-related question, two of them. I'll put them together. So our students want to know if students are able to, admitted students are able to, if admitted students are able to study in person or hybrid or virtual. And then for students who, for one reason or the other, when they get admitted, are not able to come during the semester they've been admitted. If they have funding, are they able to retain the funding until when they are able to come, or what happens? So two questions in one, sorry. Who wants to go first?
So I'll take the question. We are in person, so all faculty, staff, and students are required to be vaccinated. So we are hosting. I'm currently in the office. Students are in the classroom. We are required to wear masks in the classroom. All students, faculty, and staff are required to show proof of vaccination. If for some reason you're unable to join us and you are receiving funding from us, you can defer. And on the grad level, yes, we will defer your funding with you. Undergrad, I think, does the same thing, but I'll check with my colleague Michael. But we know it's a global pandemic. We are very, very flexible in working with you if you are offered a fellowship or scholarship.
And then to follow up as well, very similar to UMass, we also have a vaccine requirement for our students. They do have to be fully vaccinated and show proof of vaccination when they arrive on campus. everyone is on campus. We've, avoided, trying to not have too many people virtual. There is an indoor mask requirement on campus. So if you're inside the classroom or an academic building or really any building on campus, you do have to wear a mask. Outside, you do not. So that is a nice thing. And then as for the funding, that I do not know, but anyone that has specific questions about that is interested in Hood, I'll be more than happy to connect you with the right people on campus.
And for Calvin, we're a little bit different from my colleagues here. So we do not require vaccinations on campus, but we do require you to submit your vaccine information. So let's say you haven't been vaccinated, you have to let us know that. And for folks that aren't vaccinated, you will have to get tested on campus. But we do have very high vaccination rates among staff, faculty, and students, which is nice to know. And we also have a mask mandate. And we're happy to share that we also have all of our classes, or mostly all of our classes, in person, which the students and professors very much appreciate. And I think part of the question too was about students that couldn't make it due to complications. That has happened where students had, let's say you're not able to come for some reason. We're able to just push your start date to like the next semester out, which is perfectly fine. And let's say you had a financial aid or scholarships associated with that, that may change. But typically, if your circumstances are the same as when your new start date is, then your financial aid package should also be similar.
Thank you very much. I think I skipped Nick from the previous question. I'm sorry.
No problem.
I had a little challenge with technology, so mine was showing like more slowly. Do you want to answer now or?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So yeah, with the different populations of schools, Hood is on the smaller side. We have a little over 2,100 students on campus, 1,200 undergraduate, and just over around 900 graduate students. So very small populations. I wouldn't say there's really any negatives with a small school versus a big school. I would say it's more about fit. I think like both Zach and Ben mentioned, what's the best fit for you as a student. If you're looking for more of a small, close-knit community, where it's a little bit easier to make connections with faculty and with other students, a small school is the great way to go. With a larger school, and Ben touched on this as well, there are a large variety of opportunities. And since the population is so big, there's a lot of connections to make. So again, it's ultimately in what you think is the best fit for you as a student.
Great, thank you. So now there's a question for Calvin and Hood College. Somebody is asking, Calvin used to be Calvin College, is now Calvin University. And they have undergraduate programs, they have graduate programs. But yes, today we talked about undergraduate programs. Hood is Hood College, and yet we are learning about a lot of graduate programs. Can you talk a little bit about college, university, why it's Hood College and we're looking at a lot of graduate programs? Calvin University, please.
You want to go first, Nick?
Yeah, I can start this one off. Yeah, so again, the name college versus university, that doesn't mean a college is small, a university is big. It's really both dependent on how many different schools you have, and also just depending on the actual school itself, what name they would like to have. So although we have our undergraduate college and our graduate college, we are just really located in one place. So that's why as a college, we've decided just to be Hood College. There's no difference between, there are really big schools that end in college, and there might be some smaller schools that end in university. So it doesn't really have too much to do with the physical size and the population of the college.
Right, and like what was mentioned, we do have some graduate programs, and we're a university, but they're not that the options are pretty limited for graduate studies, and we're mostly focused on undergraduate, but we're still growing in that aspect. And we actually used to be called Calvin College, but we changed our name a few years ago to Calvin University. And that was more of just a symbolic gesture from the administrators about our commitment to the liberal arts aspect of the university, like a traditional liberal arts education where you're going to be kind of well-rounded after coming here and take classes outside of your major to kind of experience a vast variety of knowledge.
Thank you all so much. They say time flies when you're having fun. All too soon, it's time to wrap up. I will ask my very able presenters for today to share their closing remarks, but I want to thank you all for participating. We've learned about undergraduate programs and summer programs at Calvin University. We've learned about undergraduate and graduate programs at Umass Law. We've had some tips from applying from Hood College. We've learned about undergraduate and graduate application tips from Hood College. You've seen all the beautiful pictures. They've left their contact, so we'll have all these on our Facebook page. We want to thank you. If you have any last or parting words for the audience, you may share now. We'll start with Zach.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I hope everyone at least learned something about each of the universities and something about the college application process and how similar yet how different they can be too. So I'll pray that you just good luck on your journey, and that I know I and my colleagues here will definitely be a resource here for you. And I want you to just feel comfortable and I want you to be able to go where you want to go. So definitely reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.
Ben?
Thank you, Bernice. Thanks to Nick and Zach to present with you, and thanks to EducationUSA for hosting us. It's been a pleasure. As Zach alluded to, all the best with your search. Happy to connect with you should you have any questions about Umass Law in terms of Ghanaian community up here. And I'm happy to connect with you and answer any questions that you might have. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Best of luck with your search. Stay healthy and stay safe. God bless.
Thank you. Nick?
Thank you so much to EducationUSA Ghana for having me, as well as our other universities here as well. Again, best of luck with the process. Although it is a bit challenging at times, it will be very rewarding to be able to step foot on whichever university or college that you attend. So thank you, and stay healthy.
Thank you all very much. And to our cherished listeners, we thank you for always tuning in. Continue to review the videos and send your questions to either the presenters from the schools directly or send to EduSA, and we'll be more than happy to reconnect you. We'll be back again in 2 weeks. Stay safe and continue to observe all COVID protocol. Thank you. Have a good evening.